You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to giving you the inside scoop on what's happening on the lakes and waterways of our region, with a primary focus on Sam Rayburn and Toledo Bend. Your host, V&M Baits General Manager Kevin Jean and Camus Boats Pro Staffer Steve Graff. Two guys with years of tournament experience with Pro-Am circuits like ABA, BFLs, Toyota Series, and BASS Opens. Anglers willing to share their knowledge and to give you inside information to make you a better angler. So get ready to take some notes and learn exactly how anglers are catching the big stringers right here on Tackle Talk Live. Here are your hosts, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
Hello, everybody. You're watching. I didn't hear zero. Hello, everybody. You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. I'm Camus Boats Pro Staffer Steve Graff, along with V&M General Manager Kevin Jean. And it is May 2nd of 2023, Wednesday, May 2nd of 2023. And we are coming to you live tonight. And Kevin, today we're going to sit down and visit with a young man that I'm looking forward to hearing. I mean, we're talking a young man, 18-year-old Kaden Muke. Our Muck, the winner of last week's Outlaw Outdoors Team Series on Sam Rayburn. But big twist, he's 18 years old, and he did it by himself, Kevin.
He did. His dad is his normal partner in the Outlaw Outdoors, the Outlaw Team Series, and the Brandon Belt competitors was off limits last weekend. So those guys could not fish, and his dad is fishing Brandon Belt. So he went solo, Steve. Went solo, weighed in 29 pounds. Won the whole thing. Second place was 19 pounds. Steve, probably there ain't no probably to it. The hottest angler on Sam Rayburn right now. He weighed in 30 pounds last weekend in the high school tournament. A month ago, he weighed in 33 pounds in the high school tournament. So 18 years old, hottest stick on one of the hottest lakes in the country, Sam Rayburn.
I mean, I just can't wrap my head around that, Kevin. I mean, we're talking an 18-year-old youngster, still in high school, basically. Yeah. It's just, it's incredible to me what these young kids are doing and doing it consistently.
And the knowledge. I mean, I talked to Kaden earlier on the phone, just kind of chatting up with him, trying to get him ready for the show. And there was no getting him ready. He's ready. I mean, it's just like, who we interviewed a couple weeks ago from the Open, the kid that finished second, who's an 18-year-old senior in high school that finished second in the Open. Exactly. These kids are wise beyond their years. They get it. They get all sides of it. And you're going to hear from Kaden himself. And like I said, he just gets it. He gets the whole thing. He gets the fishing side and he gets the business side, and those are the ones that'll make it.
Yep. And we'll also wrap up last week's Bass Champs event on Toledo Bend, and we're going to preview this week's upcoming, as Kevin's already mentioned, the Brandon Belt be taking place on Sam Rayburn. We got lake reports, and hey guys, water's a little bit on the rise. I went across Toledo yesterday and was really surprised how high the water was. But and with the rain we've got coming this week, by the weekend, the Sam Rayburn and Toledo Bend both could still be on the rise. So maybe some fish in the bushes for you guys this weekend. We've got lake reports, upcoming tournaments, all this today and more on Tackle Talk Live. First, we're going to take a quick break to recognize a few of our awesome sponsors. You're watching Tackle Talk Live.
Toledo Health is a full-service primary and acute care clinic. Nurse practitioners Jarrett Rule and Melissa Vines bring quality health care that's needed and convenient to the area. Whether it's a stomach virus or a hook in your hand, Toledo Healthcare will try and meet all your healthcare needs. Appointments available and walk-ins are always welcome. So the next time you're feeling down at Toledo Bend, stop by Toledo Healthcare, located on Highway 6, just south of Toledo Town, or you can call 318-508-5323. For all your boating needs, check out Shreveport's newest marine dealer, The Boat Shop. Raymond Kidd and his great staff will take care of all your engine repair needs or anything else that needs fixing. A certified Yamaha Mercury dealer, they carry two of the best fishing boats on the market from Sea Arc and Camus. The Boat Shop is never short on trade-ins, as they're always willing and able to make you the best deal possible. Looking for great boat accessories? They're a full support Garmin and Minn Kota dealer. So the next time you're in the market for a new or used boat, or maybe you just need to service the boat you have, let the Boat Shop fix you up. To learn more, call 318-402-0399 or go to ShreveportBoatShop.com. The next time you're on I-49 just south of Natchitoches, Louisiana, stop by Cypress Outdoors. A store within a store, Cypress is located inside 3J's four-way. Whether you need gas, food, or drinks, they have it. While you're there, check out Cypress Outdoors and pick up whatever hunting or fishing tackle you need. Top name brands like Strike King, Santone, Spro, or the #1 soft plastics made, V&M. On the hunting side, they carry guns from Mossberg, Winchester, and Remington. Plus, they've got a great supply of ammunition. Let John Abram and his staff show you everything Cypress has to offer. Located just 1 mile east of 127 on I-49, or call 318-238-HUNT. You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. Now back to the guys with all the inside scoop, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
You're watching Tackle Talk Live. Thank you for tuning us in today or tonight here on, again, May the 10th of 2023. This segment presented by Toledo Health, the Boat Shop, and 3J's four-way home of Cypress Outdoors. Exit 127 off I-49, just south of Natchitoches. And so if you're looking for a place to stop in, stock up on some good V&M product, and maybe get you a drink and some fried chicken or a Crispito, hey, no better place better than Cypress Outdoors. Right there inside 3J's four-way. On the Tackle Talk hotline, we've got a young man I'm really looking forward to hearing from today. And he's got all kind of GPS coordinates he's going to share with us. Kaden Mueck. And Kaden, I hope you got those coordinates with you. That was part of the requirement to be on the show today.
I don't know about all that now.
His dad is fishing the Brandon Belt tournament. Might not appreciate that too much, Steve.
Yeah.
Cade, man, look, before we brought you on, I kind of broke it down. And let's just be honest, you're the hottest stick on Sam Rayburn right now. Won the high school tournament a month ago with over 33 pounds. Won the high school championship last weekend with 30 pounds. And just won the Outlaw Team Series #4 with 29 pounds by yourself, because we talked about your dad wasn't able to fish, and he's your partner in those events. Over 29 pounds by yourself. Second place was 19 pounds. Man, congratulations. Wow is all I have to say. You're hot right now. There's no doubt about that.
Well, thank you, sir. I do appreciate it.
Let's talk a little bit, Kaden. First of all, again, your dad could not fish with you, and y'all are fishing this whole series, correct?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
And he couldn't fish. Brandon Belt guys were off limits. I hate that for Outlaw Team Series. Man, that's just tough to have guys give the weekend, tournaments that do a weekend off before, but that's their call. That's how they're going to run their tournament. But man, makes it tough on everybody. So your dad's not able to fish. Man, break it down for us. 29 pounds. Let's tell you what. Let's go back to last weekend. 30 pounds
okay.
Last weekend. Was the 30 pounds last weekend a spot? Was it a technique? Was it a bait? Kind of break down 30 pounds last weekend for us.
It really was a rotation of 3 or 4 spots, to be honest with you. We actually, let me take that back. I had a few fish found in some brush piles, stuff running around doing that. And it wasn't working out for us. And we kind of thought the day was kind of a waste. That was about 10:30, 11. And so we just kind of ran to this spot that, we caught some fish on, the month prior. And, man, we really didn't think it'd be that good. I mean, it's really a timing deal. You kind of have to pull up, and it's all about timing. Well, I mean, we pulled up at the right time. I mean, they first cast we caught, I think our big bass was the 880, I think, first cast. And it was bam, bam, bam. We caught 3 there, and we went to another spot, kind of the same way, sets up the same, and finished out our limit by about 12 o'clock. So, I mean, it all happened within an hour and a half. And that was that day. I mean, it was kind of a lucked out deal, but I mean, it still had some, play to it.
Kaden, when you pull up on these kind of spots like that, and you catch 3, you got an 880, and then some really good fish to go with it. 2 other ones. what makes you decide, okay, we're done here. Let's go to the next one. How long do you give a spot like that?
Usually I'll pull up and either, crank them or throw a, kind of a reaction bait in there. And then, if it fires off, it fires off. If not, I'll drag, Carolina rig or, big Texas rig. And if I don't get a bite, I kind of go on to the next one. It's either these places, they kind of pull up and feed. They're not there all the time per se,
Yeah. So last weekend, 30 pounds, majority of that weight came off one spot. Deep spot,
yeah.
I'm assuming?
It's not too deep. I'd say 18 to 20 foot.
Gotcha. Okay.
Is grass a factor in this area? Is it area holding a lot of grass good hydrilla?
There's not grass specifically on it, but there's not grass too far from it either. So
yeah.
Yeah. So Kaden, fast forward to this weekend. You go out by yourself. You just had 30 last weekend. Again, basically on one spot. Kind of take us through the day Saturday. Do we run straight to it? Do we go try to catch some other fish, topwater fish, or some shad spawn stuff, or kind of take us through the day?
Yeah. So when I practiced Friday, man, I didn't even idle over check up. I planned on starting there. If it worked out, it worked out. If not, it didn't. So I didn't even look at that. I had some other fish found, nothing that caliber. But man, I didn't even go to a shad spawn deal. I had some other stuff. So I started out on that spot Saturday, and I caught one fish off of it. I caught my biggest fish first cast deal. It was an 883 or whatever it was, and I didn't get another bite, so I went to another spot kind of like it, and I caught a 5-pounder, and that was it. I ran another spot kind of like it, and it wasn't that, there wasn't nothing there. So I kind of canned all that, and I went and used my forward-facing sonar and caught the other three. I caught some on some brush, some on some standing timber type stuff, just suspended fish, live scoping.
Kaden, would you also say that, now that we're on the tail end of the spawn, the very tail end of it, would you say the fish are starting to set up now back in their summer haunts? They're already starting to get in that mode?
Yeah, I think so. The spawn is, I think it's for sure over with, and they're starting to ease out or do their summer deal. You got some fish moving in brush piles and doing other things, stuff like that.
Right.
Kaden, those live scope fish, two questions here. One, how deep a water was you over for those fish? And two, kind of baits are we talking about? We talking about jerk bait, swim bait, or something different for those live scope fish?
Yeah, I was live scoping anywhere 12 to 26 water.
Yeah, we're losing.
We're losing you. You there?
You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was live scoping anywhere from 12 to 26 or 8 feet of water, almost 30 foot. Just kind of roaming around, looking for fish. It takes a while to find one. You find one, and you try to make him commit. There wasn't a whole lot of fish to be thrown at, but there was enough to fulfill my limit. Baits wise, I go through a couple jerk baits. I'll throw the the 6 cents DD, the deep diver, and then I'll throw a slow sinking 6 cents also. And then if that don't work, I'll throw a swim bait on like a 1/2 ounce or 3/4 ounce jig head, just different things like that.
Yeah.
Now, are you talking 30, 25, 30 foot? Are you having to fizz a lot of these fish that you're catching from that deeper water?
No, well, the fish are mostly suspended up. They're not but 10 or 12 foot under the surface, sometimes less.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. What in practice, Kaden, did you get anything else going? Give us kind of a lake update, lake report right now for Sam Rayburn. What all else? Is there other things happening on the lake? What's going on fish report wise?
There's definitely some fish to be caught up shallow. I had some, some frog bites and stuff, throwing the topwater around. But man, I just don't feel like them big bags could come from something like that. I don't feel like you can catch the bags it takes to win on Rayburn, 30, upward of 30, 35. But there is definitely some fish to be caught. I think you can catch a pretty good sack throwing a frog around. I caught some on a spook in practice. I mean, there is a shallow play, but like I said, I don't. Yeah, I mean maybe, but I just don't have the confidence.
It's not. It's just not a winning pattern. They could probably go get some checks doing it for sure. Probably not a winning pattern.
Kaden, Kaden, to have your expertise and to be catching the kind of bags you're catching right now, especially at 18 years old, what would you attribute your success to at this point in your career? Is it dad? Is it a grandpa? Who's kind of put you on a?
It's definitely my dad. My dad, we've been fishing for, actually, saying that, my mom sent me a picture today. 10 years ago was our first tournament. We fished at Bass and Bugs on Lake Livingston. I mean, I've grown up fishing with him, and he's a heck of a man to look up to, for sure. He's a really good angler, and I'm glad to learn from him.
Yeah.
Now this is the team, Steve, that won. I forget what team Mark and his partner won last year. It's a big tournament. Maybe the Texas Shootout. Kaden, correct me if I'm wrong. And we couldn't get them on the show. So, Kaden, tell your dad, if they win the belt this coming weekend, he has to be on the show next week.
Yeah.
I'll let him know. Hey, man, him and David Curtis both, they're about as tight-lipped as I've ever met. But I'll have to tell him that too bad.
One last question, Kaden. So your dad didn't fish. He's fishing the whole circuit with you. You won the event and won $7,000. Did you split it with him, or did you get all of it?
Yeah.
We haven't established that yet. No, we've been joking around.
You need to lay some ground rules for that one.
Do what?
You need to lay some ground rules for that deal. I mean, you need to say, hey, look, you wasn't in the boat. Now, if you're using spots that he gave you, you might have to,
he wasn't there, Steve. He wasn't there. He didn't net any.
You might have to pony up a little bit if he gave you the spots, but otherwise, those are yours, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Kaden, man, congratulations. Heck of a weekend, heck of a year so far, man. We hope and wish you the best going forward, and we're sure we'll be talking again soon.
Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all having me.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that guide trip, Kaden. I'll be calling you soon.
All righty. Sounds good.
All right. Kaden Mueck, 18 years old. Kevin, I'm just telling you, I am amazed at that it's 30-pound bags, routine. Like it's just like I'm catching 12 to 14. He's catching 30s, and it's just amazing to me. And I just factor in, is it the electronics, or is it just doing what they're doing on the deep water fish on Rayburn? Obviously, they're setting up right now on Rayburn, where these deep water guys like Derek Mundy, some of these guys that are deep water guys, they're probably fixing to start to shine again.
Yeah. No, I definitely think so. The deep water stuff, and Kaden he's a deep water guy. So, but looking at the results, Steve, I mean, second place is 19 pounds. It ain't like they just bit. And it's more impressive to me, being that he fished by himself, that it wasn't just one spot. It was, he caught him, he caught an 8 and a 5, and then he just went scoping. To have the mannerism and the wherewithal to go do that by yourself at that age, knowing what you got to have to win this thing, that's what is super impressive to me.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Okay, we're going to take another quick break. When we return, we're going to look back at last week's Bass Champs on Toledo Bend. We're going to preview the Brandon Belt on Sam Rayburn, and we've got lake level reports for Toledo Bend and Sam Rayburn, as both lakes should be on the rise this week with all the rain we got coming. All this when we return. More with while you're watching Tackle Talk Live.
Are you looking for the finest custom-built rods ever made? Then look no further than Pride Rods. Fishing rods built to last and made in Montgomery, Texas. Constructed by Mr. Billy Kistler with the finest Gary Loomis North Fork composite blanks available. They offer a complete line of both spinning and casting rods for both fresh and salt water. Pride Rods do more than pass the eye test. They excel in performance as well. Ask your local tackle dealer if they carry Pride Rods and pick one up and try it for yourself. You'll see why so many anglers are using Pride Rods. To learn more, go to priderods.com or call 832-418-6040. The next time you're headed for Toledo Bend or Sam Rayburn, stop by Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle. They have an awesome supply of everything you'll need to catch the big ones. Whether your trip calls for bass fishing, white perch tackle, catfish bait, or the ultimate fighting shiners, Keith's Tackle has you covered. Keith and former Elite Series pro Ben Matsubu also have the latest information on what, how, and where you need to be fishing on Sam Rayburn or the Bend. So for all your tackle needs, check out Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle, located just off Highway 21 on the Texas side of Toledo Bend, or call 409-625-0181. The Lakes Insurance Agency is an independent insurance agency that has been taking care of Texans' insurance needs for over 25 years, offering auto, homeowners, boat, RV, life, health, and commercial insurance. Owner Clark Moore is a local guide and tournament angler who understands your insurance needs and wants to be your go-to guy for all your insurance needs. For a free quote, give him a call and see why so many Texans trust the Lake Insurance Agency. Located at 805 Southeast Stalling Suite 3, Nacogdoches, Texas, or call 936-205-4467. You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. Now back to the guys with all the inside scoop, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
You're watching Tackle Talk Live. I'm Cayman Boats Pro Staffer Steve Graff, along with V&M General Manager Kevin Jean, and this segment is presented by Pride Rods, Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle, and the Lakes Insurance of Nacogdoches, Texas. Once again, 2 locations, one in Nacogdoches and one right there in Broadus, Texas, just off the banks and shores of Sam Rayburn. So that being said, Kevin, Outlaw Outdoors final standings from this past week.
Kaden Muke, first place, 29-23. Second place, Kelly Owens, Roger Bacon, 19-61. Third place, Bob Boat and Andy Boat had 1783. Fourth place, Lindy Hadley had 1699. Fifth place, Lynn Adcock and Ryan McWilliams had 1689. And it took 19th place, took 1357 to get the last $500 check.
Wow. That's what
I'm saying, Steve. I mean, that's what makes what Kaden done so impressive, to 29, 19, and took 13 to get a check. So
it's almost like, what body of water were you fishing?
Yeah.
You just wonder, where in the heck was this dude at? But anyway, again, the numbers don't lie. I mean, and like I said, this ain't a one-time deal for him. This is like 2-3 weeks in a row he's been doing.
The third time in a month.
Yeah, exactly. So, hats off. Whatever he's doing, it's working. Now, Bass Champs on Toledo Bend last weekend. Kevin, I think one of the bigger stories here for Bass Champs is only 109 teams showed up for this event. And then that's rare for those guys. They normally 200 plus. But I'm noticing that.
I haven't hit 200 this whole year, Steve. And I'm fishing them. I'm fishing champs. Yeah. Me and my partner jumped in them and fished them this year, just because they fit my schedule. The only thing that I could fish that fit the schedule, or actually, let me tell the truth, that fits my daughter's schedule.
Yeah, exactly.
So, it's just heartbreaking seeing the numbers of Bass Champs. But I mean, again, you got Outlaw Team Series right here. I don't know exactly how many they had, this weekend at Rayburn. And you got guys that, they couldn't practice for belt because it was off limits. But there's something going on every lake right now. It's just hard to keep the days of old when everybody fished, what was going on that weekend. It's just hard to continue doing that.
And we're going to go.
I'm just glad they had 100 on Toledo Bend, though.
Oh, yeah, and we're going to get back to that in just a second. Let me give these results because I've got some numbers for you that I just found astounding between Texas Team Trail. It's just a lot of people, they're down. A lot of circuits today. Even Shreveport, H&W, Mike Eccles, they're down. But anyway, Martin L. shot Mark Price. Kevin, I'm telling you, you've been around a long time like I have. This team right here, if you said who is the best team in the history in the last 25 years, that has probably won more money than any other team out there, these two guys would probably be at the top of the list. They'd be in the top three.
They'd be in top five. Be top five.
Best all-time team from this region. These guys right here have been fishing together. I think I interviewed Mark today, and I think he told me they've been together for over 30 years.
Yeah. I've been fishing tournaments for 20 years on Toledo Bend now, and they've been fishing them together ever since I know of.
And again, it's Martin L. shot Mark Price. They won the Bass Champs with 24.26. Seven had a 763 kicker for a payday of $20,500 with the Garmin bonus. And again, talking to Mark today, they had a couple of stretches and they were fishing 5 to 8 foot of water. And he said, for them, normally the worm's a big deal for Martin and Mark Price, but he said crankbait. He said it was a crankbait for us this time.
Did you say 5 to 8 foot of water?
Yes. Yep. They were.
I didn't know their boat went that shallow.
Well, I've never known them to be real deep water guys, but they've never been real shallow water guys. But anyway, that's what Mark was saying today, that they caught them off guard a little bit because they're not really big crankbait guys, but that's what they were hitting. And they found a wad of fish in 2 spots. And they said, we just worked on them. I said, and we had them pretty quick. Benji Gillette and Dustin Rivers was second in this event with 20 pounds, 20.22. And Tater Reynolds and Harold Moore, 2 guys also very familiar with the winner's circle. They had 5 fish for 3rd place for 19.75. Casey Weldon and Terry Hotard from Hemp Hill, they had 5 fish for 19.72 for 4th. 5th place, Andre Martin, and Justin Martin, they had 5 fish for 19.68. 6th place was Marshall Hughes, Cole Stewart, 5 fish for $18.95. Cole Hand of Shreveport and Ty Humphreys from Stonewall were 7th with $18.47. Glenn Bagley and Mitch Stevenson from Beaumont were 8th with $16.61. 9th place was Trent Manuel, George Glass from DeRitter. They had 5 fish that weighed 16.60. And rounding out the top 10, Matthew Boyd and Jennifer Carter of Converse. They had a 791 kicker with a total weight of 16.42 to round out the top 10. So congratulations to all you guys. Good job.
Yeah, and Steve, again, from fishing, and we had 13 pounds, give or take a little bit. We had 13 or so, and fishing was tough. I did not get any practice in the weekend before because, of course, Bass Champs is off limits. Didn't get any practice in, but the weekend prior. But I did go, went up and fished a little bit, and I was really expecting to catch them. I'll be honest, I was expecting to catch them out deep cranking and throwing a Carolina rig or a football jig, and it didn't happen for us. And we checked a lot of deep spots. And I've talked to a lot of guys. I talked to Kevin Lassie on earlier today, and they couldn't catch them out deep either. I don't know what happened because the fish, if you remember back in the open, the deep fish was happening, and it was happening out there pretty good. And I'm not saying that nobody caught them deep. Some guys did catch them deep, but it did not happen like I thought it would. It did not go down out deep like I thought it would. But looking at the results right there tells you one thing: the north bite is on. I know Elshot and Price fish up north. I know Benji and them fish up north. That's where they're from. Looking down at all the checks, I ain't gonna say most all, but most of the checks came from north of the bridge. Yeah. So it's happening. It's firing up there a little bit more. And we almost went that way. I wish now we would have. But it's definitely, you can look at that results and it's glaring fact that it came from north.
Well, out of 109 teams, there were 37 limits weighed in, 5 fish limits. After that, it dropped off pretty quick to 3 fish, 2 fish, 1 fish. I mean, it dropped off hard after that. Of course, a bunch of zeros, guys that just didn't weigh in. They might have had some fish but didn't weigh in.
Yeah. I mean, that was us. I mean, we had, like I said, we had 13 on my 5-fish scale. We had 13.2 or something like that. And man, it's just, it was, we didn't put in at Cypress, so we didn't make that run. You're not getting a check on Toledo Bend with 13 pounds.
Now, here's a little bit of a shocker for me. Here's a guy, Harold Allen and Matt Loescher, 46, did not weigh in. I don't mean they don't have any fish, but they didn't weigh in. And this is Harold's time of year. I'm
telling you, Steve, it's different. It feels weird this past weekend. I don't know if it was just Saturday. Fishing they wasn't where they should be this time of year. I didn't catch them there. I didn't see them there. I graphed a lot, did not see them. We went shallow and caught our fish, and we were one decent fish away from a check, and we went shallow and caught them again. I talked to several guys today, again, Kevin Lazion, talked to him today. They went shallow to catch their fish. So, it was different. It was a different May, being it was a May tournament. It was not the usual May bite.
Well, grass is great, and we're glad it's back. Is it getting to the point, because I'm hearing guys saying there's so much grass in certain areas, it's hard to fish?
No, I want that. I want as much grass possible. I want it matted. I just want grass everywhere matted.
Right. But you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of guys that, they don't adjust well to a lot of grass. They don't.
And it's taking a lot of pockets out of, there's some pockets you go in and house in a 6 mile, you can't even fish in there. It's just grass over.
Right. I think they're kind of, again, they're complaining, but they're happy it's there. But, again, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, absolutely.
But getting back to low numbers, and again, we're not picking on Bass Champs. They're one of my sponsors for hooking up and tracking down. I'm sure not going to pick on them.
It's every tournament trail, Steve.
It's every tournament trail. And talking to Clint Wade, Clint brought up an interesting point. He said he's probably down 3%, maybe 4% overall. His numbers are continuing to be steady. And I think Clint appeals to, he's got a following now. He's got a following over there at Rayburn, and between there and he got guys that follow him pretty closely now. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Do you think adding another big circuit like Brandon Belt circuit has really affected like Bass Champs and Texas Team Trail?
I mean, it has, and I'm not going to say, adding Brandon Belt. Steve, it's just there's just so many things to fish.
I added it up, Kevin. There's 16 organizations in Texas, 16 that guys have the option to fish right now.
Yeah. Well, and again, when we did our show end of the year 2022 on all of this, it's everything. It is life in general. It is the number of tournaments. As busy as life is for everybody right now, I don't fish nowhere near like I did 5 years ago. It's because I have a daughter that plays softball, and we're gone all the time playing softball.
Exactly.
And that's a lot of people. A lot of people's kids play baseball, play other sports, and they have to go do that. That happens more nowadays than it used to.
Right.
As much. And just across, there's a small percentage of guys like me. There's a small percentage of guys that there's too many circuits to fish. There's a small percentage of guys that I don't want to compete with forward-face and sonar.
Yeah.
Gas, expensive.
Clint brought that up about, he said, I've got guys that have told me they don't fish anymore tournament trails because they don't want to compete with forward-face and sonar.
Yeah, they just want to fish the weekend clubs.
And you'll never convince me as to that being a legitimate reason. I think another thing guys are doing now, they're sitting down and looking at the schedules, and they're saying, and the circuits, and they're looking at it and saying, okay, all right, I know the group of guys that are fishing this, I can't really compete with them. But if I go fish this, I can compete with these guys. I think they're picking and choosing now.
And let me say this, it is hard. There's so many guys, Toledo Bend and Rayburn specifically, that do this for a living, that fish every weekend tournaments, and that are guides, or that do it for a living, some form, some way. And it's hard to compete against those guys if you don't get time to practice. Yeah. And that is one of the things that's very, very hard, and that is a big factor in all of this. Is if you don't have 2 or 3 days to go practice, there's no sense in going to show up.
No, you're exactly right. And here's another thing I'm gonna bring up. When you look at Brandon Belt, that's $1,200 entry fee. When you look at PTTO, another $1,200 entry fee. As a matter of fact, I think it's $1,500 entry fee. Matter of fact, I think it actually goes to $1,750 when you have the membership fee and everything added in. That you can end up paying $1,750. But my point is, there's only so many Todd Castledines and Russell Cecils out there that will really fish that level because they know they probably got a shot. Those circuits, I think, are going to struggle. PTTO is really struggling. They started out when I fished it 2 years ago when they first opened up. We had right at 100 teams, which was, I think, a cutoff. Now, if they've got 30, they're happy right now. I don't know if they're happy, but they're drawing about 30 to 40 anglers a tournament now. And so I'm wondering, is that one that's going to fade away? Is it because the entry fee is so high? You know, you got a select group of guys that'll fish that kind of stuff. But anyway.
Yeah. I don't know. There's so much that's a whole nother box of worms. There's so much that goes into that. Outside of everything we just named, then expenses like you're kind of going with, and the price of gas, the way it was.
Yep.
Baits, the price of rods, reels, line, what it costs.
Travel.
Boats, period.
Yeah.
What it costs to fish is just outrageous.
Oh, it is.
So, that's a whole different discussion. I mean, we could spend hours and hours and open this up for discussion and get 20 different answers from 20 different people.
Amen.
But nevertheless, it's affecting the tournaments. Absolutely.
Yeah.
As you said, Bass Champs has had 100 to 130, I think, all year.
Yeah.
10 years ago, that would have been, if Bass Champs had 100, people would be shocked.
Yeah.
It was 200 plus every weekend Bass Champs.
Some of them 300. Yeah. I remember 300 boat tournaments with Bass Champs.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The first one of the year, Rayburn, was over 300.
Yeah. And I remember 400 numbers on Texas Team Trail. 400 boats events. So, but anyway, it's just food for thought, and if you've got an opinion, those of you that are watching, hey, you got an opinion, shoot us a line on our Facebook page. We'd love to hear from you. Also, upcoming let's see, lake levels real quick. Rayburn is at 164.73. It's 3.96 inches above pool, so it's up. 10-day gain of 2.76. It's come up 2.76 inches in 10 days. 24-hour gain 0.72, so it's actually still on the rise. Toledo Bend actually is the same as it was last week at this time, 171.7. It's 3.6 inches low right now. 10-day gain of 0.36. 24-hour loss in the last 24 hours. It's come down 0.12 inches, and but Toledo Bend fluctuates a lot more than Rayburn does because they're generating. And but again, with this rain we've got coming in, they're talking just south of Shreveport up to maybe 2.5 inches. Well, that's Logansport. That's Sabine River. That it could jump on them by the weekend, Kevin, if they get that kind of rain.
It could, and I know we're going to have some rain this week. Toledo's is the one to watch to me. How much are they going to pull with this rain that they're having? As you said, it's still, for it to be stable, water's coming in because they're taking it out. So, and it's fixing to have a lot of water coming down the pipe. So Toledo's the one to watch. Rayburn's going to rise. But how fast do they pull Toledo Bend down? That's the one to watch.
Your opinion, would you rather fish Toledo with it up or with it down below pool?
Well, I mean, what time of year are we talking?
Right now. I'm talking right now. If you drop it down, the grass will be matted over.
Yeah, I want it. I want to drop down just because that allows me to do what I want to do.
Right.
That's fish out deep.
Yeah.
That takes away the 5 to 8 foot that the guys you're saying wanted on chances. That takes that away from them.
Yeah, that's true. All right, upcoming events. Of course, we got Brandon Belt this coming weekend on Rayburn, May 12th and 13th. You got the Sealy Big Bass Splash next week on Toledo Bend, May 19th, 20th, and 21st. And you got the ABA Solo 150. I got a notice from them today. Registration is open May 26th and 27th on Toledo Bend out of Lost Frontier Park. And if you're looking to sign up for that event, you have to be, the deadline to enter is next Friday, May 19th. Not this Friday, next Friday, May 19th at 5 o'clock. You got to be entered at that point. Entry fee is $600. It's a 2-day event. Again, May 27th and 28th. That's a Friday and a Saturday. It is Memorial Day weekend. And so going to be crowded. Just get ready.
Yeah. No, it definitely will be. Let's talk about Belt coming up this weekend. I'm to see the weights. I mean, I know Kaden had 29, but 19, and then took 13 to get a check. So his fishing's not easy. I'm really interested to see what these guys do this weekend and the amount of rain that they're fixing to get and got lately. You know, to see where Rayburn goes this upcoming weekend and what comes, you know, with the Brandon Belt weights.
Well, you got the big dogs in there this week. You do. You got some guys that are experienced there this time of year. And again, you got the Derek Mundys of the world over there that are there. If those deep water fish are biting like they were last week for Kaden, it could be a shootout. I mean, you could probably have 5 bags over 25 pounds for this event. And it wouldn't surprise me if they had a 5 over 25 pounds.
I haven't looked at the weather. What's the weather going to be like this weekend?
This weekend, it's 30% chance of rain, I think, on Saturday. And then Sunday, it's supposed to be pretty. So
wind?
I don't know about the wind. I
can definitely see that. It's a 2-day tournament, especially on day one. They're going to lean on them hard on day one. Thing about Rayburn is if you're catching them, you got to catch them.
Yeah.
One, because Rayburn is hit and miss so hard, especially on them deep spots. You don't know if you're going to catch them on day 2. Plus, you got to catch them just to be in contention. So day 1, the weights are going to be really, really good. I imagine to see some fall off for day 2. But, I'm interested to see what happens at Rayburn over there this weekend.
Now, I know that the purpose of Sam Rayburn Reservoir, the purpose of that reservoir is a water control lake. So my question is, if water starts coming in the lake and the lake starts to rise, how does that affect the deeper fish? Does it pull them off and make them come up?
No, I mean, if it came way up, yes. But what it's going to, it's not going to affect. It's not going to come up enough to affect them. I'll put it that way.
And I do know when they're pulling water, they are pulling water. When they do pull water at Sam Rayburn, it can be on them brush top. I mean,
deep fish period, it can be on the points, everything. Yes. If they go to pulling, they're gonna catch them. They're gonna catch them big bags. I'm talking, take 17 a day to get a check, but I don't know if I don't see that happening this weekend as far as them pulling. I don't think it's gonna get that high.
Yeah.
But again, and Kaden alluded to it, the frog bite's happening. So there's going to be a lot of checks cashed several different ways: deep, shallow, grass, frogging, so on and so forth. So they'll be able to they'll be check cashed a lot of different ways.
Do you pay attention to the dam and what they're doing down there at the dam?
I mean, this time of year, I want to know if they're pulling or not. I want to know what time of the day they're pulling.
Right.
To see what time the water, what time because that will have a lot of effect on those fish. If they're pulling every day from 3 to 5, or they're pulling every morning, those deep fish, that will affect them. Yeah,
that's true. All right, real quick, I want to give a special thanks. Last night, I had the golden opportunity to be the guest speaker for the Hemp Hill High School Bass Club. I want to thank them for allowing me to be their guest speaker at their awards banquet last night, and gave us some good PR for Tackle Talk Live and my other program, Hooking Up, Tracking Down. Special thanks to Stephen English. Actually, Stephen and I have been paired up in a boat together. Great angler in his own right. He's the superintendent of schools. I appreciate him asking me to do that last night, and looking forward to maybe doing that again for them one day. The entire Bass Club staff, they do a great job. They put on a great event last night, and they just do an excellent job with this program. They are all in. I'm telling you, I was really impressed with the enthusiasm from the parent support, and they've even got a club staff a board that is all in, and they really go all the way for these kids. And you guys that are fishing the Hemp Hill Bass Club, count your blessings. You are lucky to have people like you've got over there working for you guys and trying to help y'all out as much as they can and make you better anglers. So, Kevin, these kids are the future. I mean, this is where it's at. The high school bass fishing is where it's at.
Yeah, I mean, again, look what Kaden today, 18 years old, senior in high school, and look what he's doing. He's kicking everybody's butt, including mine. So
that's exactly right.
Yeah, I mean, it's between high school fishing, college fishing, that, you know, they have such an opportunity that we never had growing up. I got a little bit of college in it late, but you know, just to have the opportunity to fish at, you know, again in high school is a privilege, and it's an honor to be able to go do that. And I would love to have had that opportunity for sure.
Yeah. And another real quick shout out. Last week, there was 2 big events on Red River. There was a high school tournament, a 1-day deal. Then there was a 2-day college championship on Red River. And Kevin, I was impressed. There was some, especially on the college series, there was 2 or 3 bags over 15 come in. We hadn't seen that in a while on Red River. And conditions, I guess, were right. A lot of these guys are running all the way to Pool 5, 2.5 hour run from Natchitoches. They made the runs. I think 5 of the top 10 came out of Pool 5. And but I was happy to see the weights I was seeing. A lot of 13s to 14s, a lot of weight in that category. Good to see that's consistency. It makes me think that the restocking program by the Red River Waterway Commission is actually starting to work.
No, it is. There's no doubt about that. Without that, it wouldn't be there, Steve. It wouldn't be doing what it's doing right now without the restocking program. And it's going to continue to get better. There's no doubt. I mean, the fishing will continue to get better, and that's really, really good for Red River. It's really good for Natchitoches and Shreveport that brings these tournaments in, because both cities do an outstanding job hosting tournaments. I'm glad to see it. I'm glad to see it for everybody involved. Red River is on its way back.
Yes, and the participation numbers were really off the chart. Over 100 teams in each one of those. I think 160 or 170 in the college division. It was really a great turnout. So very happy to see that. All right. Anything else we got?
I think that does it for today.
All right. Well, we appreciate y'all tuning us in. Please check us out on our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or anywhere that you listen to podcasts. If you'd like to become a member of our sponsorship team, please message us on our Facebook page. Kevin will make sure he sends out a detailed packet. And for Kevin Jean, yours truly, Steve Graff. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week with more Tackle Talk Live.